The clock is ticking in Cleveland, and you can feel the tension building with every passing second. The Browns are staring down the barrel of another lost season, and fans have officially had enough. Social media is on fire, the dog pound is restless, and the calls for a quarterback change are growing louder by the day. 2 weeks into the 2025 NFL season, this franchise is already at a crossroads, and the man standing in the middle of it all is head coach Kevin Stefanski. Right now, Browns fans aren't just frustrated, they're furious. They've watched this team stumble out of the gate yet again, and the excuses are starting to sound like reruns of a bad sitcom. We just have to execute better. We need to play a full 60 minutes. Complimentary football. You've heard it all before. The difference this time? The solution seems obvious to everyone except the coaching staff. His name is Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur isn't just another backup quarterback waiting for a shot. He's the most hyped rookie the Browns have had in years. Drafted in 2025 after carving up college defenses, he's got the pedigree, the poise, and the talent to turn this franchise around. And yet, while the offense continues to sputter and Joe Flacco looks every bit his age, Stefanski refuses to even say Shedeur's name in press conferences. That silence is deafening. This isn't just about one game. This is about the future of the entire Cleveland Browns organization. If they drop another one, especially with Green Bay rolling into town, it could be the nail in the coffin for Stefanski's tenure as head coach. Fans are already calling for his job, and every decision he makes from here on out will be scrutinized under a microscope. So here we are, a fan base begging for change, a young star waiting in the wings, and a coach who seems too scared or too stubborn to make the move everyone else knows is coming. Will Cleveland finally unleash Shedeur Sanders before it's too late, or will they keep playing it safe and watch another season circle the drain? Buckle up, because what happens next could define the Browns' future for the next decade. The Browns' 2025 season could not have started much worse. Sitting at 0-2, this team already looks like it's in crisis mode, and the schedule isn't doing them any favors. The offense has been painfully inconsistent, struggling to sustain drives and capitalize on the opportunities the defense is creating. For a team that entered this year hopping to turn the page and finally compete for something meaningful, it feels like the same old story all over again. Kevin Stefanski has been doing his best to stay calm and project confidence, but every press conference sounds more like damage control than a plan to win football games. He's doubling down on veteran quarterback Joe Flacco, saying the team needs to play together, execute the little things, and trust the process. Those sound bites might play well in the locker room, but to fans, it sounds like stubbornness in the face of reality. Flacco, a 40-year-old former Super Bowl MVP, simply doesn't look like he has much left in the tank. Behind him sits Dillon Gabriel, another young option, but it's Shedeur Sanders who has captured the imagination of Cleveland fans. Drafted in the 5th round this past spring, Sanders came into camp with all eyes on him, showing flashes of brilliance in preseason action. He has the arm, the composure, and the charisma that this franchise has been searching for since, well, forever. But right now, he's sitting 3rd on the depth chart, watching from the sidelines as the offense sputters. Meanwhile, the Browns' defense has actually been doing its job, forcing turnovers, applying pressure, and giving the offense every chance to succeed. But you can only ask a defense to carry a team for so long before frustration sets in. If the Browns can't score points, they can't win games, and everyone in Cleveland knows it. The real question is why Stefanski seems so unwilling to even entertain the possibility of a quarterback change. Is he protecting Sanders from being thrown into the fire too soon? Is he worried about disrupting the locker room? Or is he simply playing it safe, hoping the veterans can right the ship before it's too late? Whatever the answer, time is running out, and with Green Bay coming to town, Cleveland is staring at a potential 0-3 start that could send this entire season, and maybe Stefanski's job spiraling out of control. To really understand why Cleveland fans are so desperate to see Shedeur Sanders on the field, you have to know who this kid is and what he's already accomplished. Shedeur isn't just another mid-round rookie quarterback. He's the son of NFL Hall of Famer Deion, prime-time, Sanders, which means he's been living under the brightest spotlight in football since the day he first picked up a ball. Pressure isn't new to him. Expectations aren't new to him. Performing when the whole world is watching. That's just another Saturday for Shedeur. At Colorado, Shedeur carved up defenses with surgical precision, putting up video game numbers in an offense that often relied on him to be the difference maker. He wasn't just throwing for empty stats either. He was dragging a team that was outmatched in the trenches into competitive games against much stronger opponents. Scouts raved about his poise in the pocket, his ability to read defenses pre-snap, and his knack for staying calm when everything around him was breaking down. When draft day came, there was some debate about where he'd land. Some analysts had him projected as a day 2 pick. Others thought he might slide to the later rounds because of concerns about his supporting cast and how his game would translate to the NFL. The Browns took the gamble in the 5th round, and from the moment he walked into Berea, he's turned heads. Training camp reports described him as polished, coachable, and mature beyond his years. He showed the arm talent to make every throw on the field and the ability to command the huddle like a veteran. In preseason action, he flashed that trademark calm under pressure, stepping up into the pocket, delivering strikes, and keeping drives alive. But here's the thing, Sanders hasn't just impressed with his play. He's impressed with his attitude. No diva behavior, no social media drama, no public campaigning for the starting job. Just quiet confidence and a focus on getting better every single day. That's why fans are convinced he's the answer. He represents hope, a fresh start at the most important position in sports. And right now, hope is something Cleveland desperately needs. If you want to know just how fed up Cleveland fans are right now, all you have to do is spend 5 minutes on social media. Browns Twitter, Facebook groups, Reddit threads, they're all saying the same thing. Start Shedeur Sanders. Some fans are even calling this the most frustrated they've been since the infamous 0-16 season. And honestly, you can't blame them. They've been promised change year after year, only to watch the same problems repeat themselves. Inconsistent offense, wasted defensive performances, and a coaching staff that always seems one step behind. The memes are brutal, the fan videos are going viral, and every sports radio station in Cleveland is running phone lines nonstop with callers begging for a quarterback change. You've got lifelong season ticket holders saying they won't step foot in the stadium again until Stefanski puts Shedeur under center. The dog pound isn't just barking anymore, they're howling for blood. It's not just the fans either. National media is starting to pile on. NFL analysts are openly questioning why the Browns would spend a draft pick on a quarterback with this much upside and then refuse to even mention his name while the offense implodes. Talk shows are running segments with titles like, "What are the Browns waiting for?" and "Is Stefanski coaching scared?" The pressure isn't just coming from inside Cleveland, it's coming from every corner of the football world. And here's the thing about Cleveland fans, they know their football. This isn't just an emotional reaction, they see what's happening on the field. They see Joe Flacco missing throws, drives stalling out, and points left on the board. They also see the highlight reels of Shedeur from Colorado, the quick release, the accuracy, the leadership. To them, it feels like the answer is sitting right there, wasting away on the sideline. This mounting pressure puts Stefanski in a nearly impossible position. Every decision he makes now is under a microscope, and every loss only makes the calls louder. If the Browns start 0-3, it's not just going to be noise, it's going to be a full-on rebellion. At some point, the organization has to decide whether to silence the critics or finally give the fans what they want. Kevin Stefanski isn't blind to the storm brewing around him, far from it. Every press conference, every interview, every sideline appearance carries the weight of fan frustration, media scrutiny, and internal pressure from the front office. But what makes Stefanski's situation uniquely difficult is that he's caught between two equally high-stakes choices. Stick with Joe Flacco and hope the veteran can right the ship, or make the bold move and hand the reins to rookie Shedeur Sanders. Neither option is without risk. On one hand, sticking with Flacco is safe, at least on paper. He's a seasoned quarterback with decades of experience, a locker room presence, and a reputation that commands respect. Making a switch midseason could disrupt team chemistry, rattle the offensive line, and create tension among players who have bought into the veteran's leadership. Stefanski has publicly emphasized patience, trust in the roster, and the need to play the long game, signaling that he doesn't want to make a reactive decision based on public pressure. But that caution comes at a cost. Fans see inaction as stubbornness, analysts call it playing it safe at all costs, and the clock is ticking. Every incomplete pass, every stalled drive, every lost game adds fuel to the narrative that Stefanski is either too cautious or too indecisive to adapt to reality. The optics are brutal, and they don't just affect him, they affect the entire franchise. Then there's the challenge of expectations versus reality. Stefanski inherited a team with holes at nearly every position and a quarterback carousel that has spanned decades. Managing injuries, rotations, and the mental toll of a losing streak isn't easy, even for a coach with his experience. On top of that, he has to consider long-term implications. How will promoting Sanders impact the team next season or the season after? Is it worth risking the short-term chaos for potential long-term gain? It's a pressure cooker, and it only intensifies with each passing week. Stefanski has to balance strategy, personnel, optics, and morale, all while knowing that one misstep could cost him his job. And with Shedeur Sanders waiting in the wings, the storylines practically write themselves. The question hanging over Cleveland isn't just about wins or losses. It's about leadership, courage, and whether Stefanski has what it takes to make the move everyone else seems to know is inevitable. Imagine a quarterback who doesn't just throw the ball, one who elevates everyone around him simply by being on the field. That's what Shedeur Sanders represents for the Cleveland Browns. Fans aren't just excited because he's a rookie with a flashy college career. They're excited because he brings the potential to change the culture, energy, and trajectory of this team in ways no veteran quarterback currently on the roster can. Sanders is a rare combination of skill, poise, and leadership. His arm strength allows him to make every throw, whether it's a short precision pass or a deep strike downfield. His ability to read defenses before the snap, recognizing coverages, anticipating blitzes, and adjusting plays, is already at a level that rivals seasoned NFL quarterbacks. But it's not just about technical ability, it's about how he handles pressure. In clutch moments, Sanders has consistently shown calm, decisive decision-making that inspires confidence in his teammates. Leadership is another defining trait. Watching Shedeur play, you notice how receivers make catches they normally wouldn't, how offensive linemen dig a little deeper, and how the entire offense seems more synchronized. That's not coincidence. That's a quarterback who commands respect and brings out the best in everyone around him. For a Browns offense that has struggled to sustain drives and put points on the board, that intangible could be the spark they desperately need. And it goes beyond just wins and losses. Bringing Sanders onto the field sends a message to the fan base, the locker room, and the league. Cleveland is committed to the future, to bold decisions, and to embracing talent when it's right in front of them. It's about energizing a fan base that has been starved for excitement, inspiring confidence in a coaching staff that's been second-guessing itself, and creating momentum that can carry through an entire season. Of course, there are risks. He's a rookie, still learning the nuances of NFL defenses, and there's an adjustment period for any first-year quarterback. But the upside far outweighs the downside. Sanders isn't just a gamble, he's a potential franchise-altering move. If the Browns are smart, if they seize the moment, they could be looking at the quarterback who turns this struggling franchise into a contender for years to come. As the Browns approach another crucial week, the question on everyone's mind is simple. What happens next? The team's direction hinges on one pivotal decision. Do they stick with veteran Joe Flacco, or do they finally hand the reins to rookie Shedeur Sanders? Each path comes with its own risks and potential rewards, and the consequences could shape this franchise for years. Let's start with the stick with Flacco scenario. On paper, it's the safe choice. Flacco brings experience, stability, and a familiar presence in the locker room. The coaching staff already knows his tendencies, the offensive line has built chemistry, and there's a level of predictability that can help manage in-game situations. But the problem is, predictability hasn't translated into success. If the Browns continue down this route, they risk further offensive stagnation, declining fan confidence, and mounting media scrutiny. Every incomplete pass, failed drive, or loss adds pressure not just on Flacco, but on the coach and the organization as a whole. At some point, patience wears thin. Now consider the alternative, giving Shedeur Sanders a chance. This would be a bold move, but one with enormous upside. Sanders has shown the poise, arm talent, and leadership to inject new energy into the offense immediately. He can lift the entire team's performance. Receivers make sharper catches, offensive linemen play with more intensity, and the overall game plan becomes more dynamic. It's risky, of course. He's a rookie adjusting to NFL speed and complexity, and mistakes are inevitable. But even with growing pains, the potential reward is transformative. A quarterback who can carry this franchise for years and re-energize a fan base that has been waiting for hope. There's also a middle path, a gradual integration. Sanders could be given limited reps in certain packages or in non-critical situations to acclimate him, while Flacco remains the starter. This approach allows the team to test the rookie without completely overhauling the offense, though it risks delaying the impact fans are clamoring for. No matter which scenario unfolds, the stakes are crystal clear. Each game becomes a measuring stick, not just for wins and losses, but for leadership, adaptability, and vision. Cleveland is at a crossroads, and the decisions made in the coming weeks could determine whether the Browns continue the cycle of mediocrity or finally pivot toward a brighter, long-term future. All eyes in Cleveland are now fixed on one looming test, the upcoming matchup against the Green Bay Packers. This isn't just another game on the schedule, it's a high-stakes litmus test for the Browns, coaching staff, their offense, and potentially the future of the franchise. A win could buy Stefanski some breathing room. A loss could accelerate calls for drastic change, especially at the quarterback position. Green Bay is no ordinary opponent. They have a quarterback who can make every throw, a running back who refuses to go down without a fight, and a supporting cast of offensive weapons that are well-coached and disciplined. Stefanski himself has praised the Packers' preparation and execution, highlighting just how challenging this game will be. For Cleveland, it's not just about facing a tough opponent. It's about whether they can execute a plan under pressure, adapt to a dynamic defense, and prove they're capable of competing at a high level. For the Browns' offense, this game is a make-or-break moment. The front office, media, and fans will all be watching closely to see whether Flacco can sustain drives, make critical reads, and respond under pressure. Every incomplete pass, missed opportunity, or stalled drive will be magnified under the harsh spotlight of expectation. This is the kind of game where mistakes aren't just costly, they're symbolic, a reflection of the franchise's deeper issues and the coaching staff's decision-making. If Shedeur Sanders were on the field, the narrative shifts entirely. Even as a rookie, Sanders brings a different energy, a quarterback who can make quick, decisive reads, keep the offense in rhythm, and elevate teammates around him. The pressure won't disappear, but his presence could transform the team's identity in real time. Every play would carry the potential to spark a turnaround, not just for a single game, but for the confidence of the entire season. Beyond Green Bay, the next few matchups are equally telling. These are tests of strategy, adaptability, and leadership. How will the Browns respond to adversity? Can the coaching staff make bold moves when the situation demands it? And most importantly, will Cleveland finally embrace the quarterback talent sitting on the bench, or continue down a path that may only deepen frustration? This isn't just a football game, it's a crucible. The decisions made, the plays executed, and the moments seized over the next few weeks could define the Browns' 2025 season and set the tone for years to come. For the Cleveland Browns, the stakes extend far beyond a single game or even a single season. This isn't just about wins and losses. It's about the trajectory of the franchise, the credibility of the coaching staff, and the future of the quarterback position that has haunted Cleveland for decades. Every decision made now reverberates for years to come. At the forefront is Kevin Stefanski's job security. He's navigating a pressure cooker unlike any other, with fans, media, and the front office scrutinizing every decision. One misstep, whether it's sticking with a struggling veteran quarterback or mishandling the development of a rookie, could cost him his position. But it's not just his career on the line. it's the tone he sets for the entire organization. A lack of decisive action now sends a message that Cleveland is comfortable with mediocrity, and that kind of perception can be toxic for a team desperate to compete at a high level. Then there's the quarterback situation itself, arguably the most critical element in the franchise's long-term outlook. The Browns have cycled through quarterbacks for decades, searching for a leader who can elevate the entire team. Shedeur Sanders represents a potential turning point. Giving him the opportunity now could set the stage for years of stability, growth, and sustained success. Ignoring him or delaying his development could mean wasting precious talent, a luxury Cleveland simply can't afford if they want to compete in the modern NFL. The impact also extends to the fan base. Cleveland fans are passionate, knowledgeable, and unafraid to voice their frustration. If the organization continues to ignore clear solutions, they risk alienating the very people who keep the team alive through loyalty, ticket sales, and social support. Conversely, a bold, forward-thinking decision, starting Sanders, empowering him, and committing to a long-term plan, could energize the city and reignite hope after years of disappointment. Finally, the long-term stakes touch every part of the franchise: offensive and defensive schemes, roster building, and team culture. A successful quarterback transition can set the tone for smarter drafting, more confident coaching decisions, and a winning mentality across the board. But hesitation risks stagnation, repeated mistakes, and the same cycle of frustration that has haunted the Browns for decades. In short, Cleveland is at a crossroads. The decisions made over the next few weeks aren't just about the 2025 season. They will shape the franchise for years, determining whether this is a turning point toward greatness or another chapter in a long history of what could have been. As we reach the end of this story, one thing is crystal clear. The Cleveland Browns are at a pivotal moment. The choices made over the next few weeks could define this franchise for years to come. Fans are demanding action, the media is pressing for answers, and the clock is ticking. Every incomplete pass, every stalled drive, and every sideline decision now carries weight far beyond a single game. This isn't just about wins and losses. It's about vision, courage, and the willingness to embrace opportunity when it's staring you in the face. Shedeur Sanders represents more than a new quarterback. He represents hope, energy, and the potential to change the culture of this team. He has the arm strength, poise, and leadership to elevate the players around him, energize a frustrated fan base, and give Cleveland a true long-term answer at the most important position in sports. But talent alone doesn't guarantee success. The organization must be willing to make the hard decisions, take calculated risks, and trust that the rookie can deliver, both on and off the field. Kevin Stefanski's role is central to this drama. He's balancing coaching strategy, roster management, and fan expectations in a pressure cooker situation. Each choice he makes, whether to stick with Joe Flacco, gradually integrate Sanders, or make a bold immediate switch, will define not only this season but his legacy as a coach. One wrong move could cost him his job, but one decisive, well-timed choice could change the narrative entirely. For fans, analysts, and casual observers alike, the coming weeks are a test of patience, perception, and insight. Will the Browns finally embrace the quarterback who can carry them forward, or will they repeat the mistakes of the past? The upcoming games, particularly against teams like Green Bay, aren't just matchups on the schedule. They are crucibles that will reveal the team's true identity, the leadership of the coaching staff, and the readiness of Shedeur Sanders to seize his moment. The takeaway is simple. Cleveland stands at a crossroads. The stakes are monumental, the talent is undeniable, and the clock is ticking. What happens next will be remembered not just for a season, but for the trajectory of the franchise for years to come. Fans, players, and coaches alike are watching closely, and the pressure to act decisively has never been higher. The question isn't whether Sanders can play in the NFL. The question is whether the Browns are ready to recognize greatness when it's staring them in the face.
If you enjoyed today's breakdown and want to keep up with all the drama, trades, and behind-the-scenes action in the NFL, then don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps this channel grow and lets us know you love this kind of content. And hey, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with your friends, your group chats, or anyone who loves football as much as you do. The more the conversation spreads, the better it gets. Most importantly, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss when we drop fresh stories, wild rumors, or breaking updates that the mainstream media won't talk about.